Welcome back to Elevate Hotel Design, the podcast where we explore creative minds and courageous ideas shaping hospitality. I'm your host, Lorraine Francis of Cadiz Collaboration, and today's episode dives into the subject that impacts every guest's first impression, color. So today, our guest joining us is Amanda Malson. Amanda is founder and principal of Common Standard, an OC-based interior design studio known for its fearless use of color, textural contrast, and curated vintage. Her portfolio spans hospitality, retail, and lifestyle-driven residential projects. A self-described colorist at heart, Amanda brings a fresh perspective on design that elevates narratives through palette. From her work with iconic California properties to lifestyle spaces that feel richly layered and unexpected. Amanda's consistency uses color to provoke emotion, spark nostalgia, and shape experiences. Her current work includes several hospitality-driven adaptive reuse projects in the Western U.S., California, and she's an outspoken advocate for a design that is thoughtful as it is joyful. So I ended with joyful. So Molly, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And
So happy to be here.
Yeah, I know, and actually also it's like being my friend.
Yes.
And we work together and we supported each other, and I think both of us are working around a little more joy. Yeah. I feel like this is a great conversation to talk about color. And so I feel like it's just, let's just go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the color, it promotes happiness, so I
Yeah.
think joy is a wonderful word.
No, I think also just working in this new podcast studio and having all this kind of art behind me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a lot of this is my husband, and I think it also just brings me joy. And I was like on this one called The Cosmic Giggle, and it's just this funny thing that it's like sometimes he's doing a piece of art and I'm just like, can I buy that? He's okay, that's good. But I think and you've been a great supporter of his art, so I appreciate that. So it's good. I think he appreciates that. So
Yeah, oh, absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
too, and we'll get into this in some of your questions, but I think
Yeah.
Bob's art is, I'm closely related to it because he uses such vibrant color.
Yes.
And I think that we're all a little bit like 70s, 80s babies.
Uh-huh.
And we've grown up with that color palette, and I think that's why I'm so closely drawn
Yeah.
to Bobisms. And so that I support because I love that I feel closely related to it.
Yeah.
Because of that.
No. Good,
Yeah.
good. But let's start from the beginning.
Yeah.
The journey of getting into design, to some of your past, and what's been that journey forward to where you are and where Common Standard is.
Yeah. I was raised in Kansas, raised in the farmlands. Both parents were artists, are creatives. My father and mother both.
Yeah.
And
And he's doing like art in China now.
He's doing art in China. Yes.
Yeah, which is
Yeah,
awesome.
he's actually living in the main ceramics village in China, which is up more north.
Okay.
And so they're up there for maybe 4 or 5 months right now,
Yeah.
exploring ceramics, and I think he's painting too. He always is doing things. But yeah, I think being raised by two creative people and getting that influence at a very early age, I think like color was a basis of my childhood in a way.
Yeah.
In that when I was little, my dad was making jewelry.
Yeah.
And
bracelet.
yes, I know, I love it so much. Yeah, they're very special to me, and I think that when I was a kid, I would go to his shop, and he had these little tiny spoons, and each color would be put into the piece of jewelry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he would say, pick a color, pick a color, pick a color. And so I think that was one of the first things that really formed.
Yeah.
And then my mother had a loom in the house.
Oh,
And so she had all these beautiful yarns
Yeah.
and textiles.
You gotta get her back into that.
I know.
She was hard. She got,
I know. Like, how do we get her moved back? Totally.
Okay, we'll look at that together.
Yeah, so I think that those two things were like the beginnings of my color theory.
Yeah.
And then on the other layer of that, we had a full garden in the backyard.
Yeah.
We had all these beautiful iris. We had these beautiful mimosa trees that were pink, and lilacs that grew every year, and peonies. So I think that like growing up, my environment was naturally very colorful too.
No, and it was similar because
Yeah.
my mom was like fashion designer, so I used to go to her studio, and there was all this color, and my sister was an artist. And actually it made me think like I wasn't artistic. So it was the opposite. I was like, oh, I gotta go into engineering school. So I started as architectural engineering because I was like, I'm not creative. I was like, oh no, I'm creative in like straight lines, and I'm super creative. So it's just different.
Yeah, it's different. Yeah.
But I think also even having the lavender farm, I was just up there a few weeks ago, and I hadn't really seen it in full bloom lately, but there was this one row that was like phosphorescent. And it was just like the beauty of that color was truly inspiring. And waking up to it was like, is it really real? Because it didn't feel like a real color. So it just felt so special that you couldn't just find it on a Pantone bag.
It's so gorgeous up there. I can't wait to go visit.
So we have
See all that, see the little house, see all the things, see the bocce ball court.
but
I'm excited about that.
Yeah, but going from even just like with your dad, like those are all like natural pigments from nature.
Yes.
And then being inspired by the gardens is really beauty, like how much nature inspires us to have all this great color.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Oh, and then one other thing that he made me do, and I think this was just to get me out of the way or like to stop bugging him or whatever, but he used to like pound flathead nails into boards.
Okay.
And then he would give me that board and he was like, paint the tops.
Oh.
Don't come back until you're done. And so I would take the board and then I would get my little paints and I would paint
Like nail polish.
all the tops. And I think like I had to choose the colors.
Yeah.
And that kind of gave me like, I don't know, I guess an experience of sorts of learning what color is like. And I also had to mix all the colors too, which actually gives you an education on what are the undertones of all the colors and the pigments and all that stuff. And I obviously didn't know that I was doing that then, but it's like you learn as you mix and paint like that.
You do. Actually, I'm always like, when I do art, like I'm actually really scared of watercolor. And I think watercolor is so, to me, really hard to do because like you have to lay it down and let it ride. And the minute you like overwork it, it turns to shit brown. And now you put oil over just like you try to water it too much, you try to make it better, but it almost has this beauty. So I think I'm trying to like just do it and challenge myself so I don't get shit brown.
Yeah, so we don't get in that shit brown phase. We all get there sometimes.
But I think I was like, besides like painting the nails, like what became like the essence of you being like more fearless with color?
I don't know. I think it goes back to the 80s.
Yeah.
I think that time period, which was when I was like coming up through junior high and high school, and everything was like neon and bright and bold and loud and black and white checkers and patterns. And I love all of that stuff. Yeah. And I really want everybody else to love it too.
But it's also like that combination, like I'm just looking at the tie, and it's a salmon pink, but it's this orange that has a little bit of a different color to it. It's not a super bright orange in the blue. Yeah. Bringing together the whole blue, and it's just like, people don't think about putting together like that coloration, and also like it's a different stripe. Like to me, I love stripes, but it, like there's so many bad stripes out there.
I know.
So there's that beauty of getting the right stripe to enhance something that's as simple as like that.
And just interesting those like little details of what is a bad stripe versus good stripe, because there's a difference. But I think I love like the Memphis style as well. Yeah. And that kind of came up in the 80s. Yeah, I love all that stuff. Oh, and what I was gonna say sparked my color like memories is that I grew up with a grandmother who loved to shop, and she came up in the 50s and 60s. Yeah. And she had all of these amazing outfits, like pantsuits, that were like bright pink and bright green, and she had all these like plastic cool shoes, and like all of that stuff I think was really influential as well. And then it translated into this kind of like preppiness, because I was part of the golf team. And so, like,
I didn't know you were part of the golf team.
Yeah, that's the thing you didn't know. Yeah, I was on the golf team and I was on the swim team. And it was like Callaway Gardens green and like popped colors and Izod and all of that stuff. I feel like that actually sets the tone for me, in that you have the 80s plus like that preppy golf combined, which is why you get this.
No, exactly. So where do you feel like color became important in hospitality? And maybe describe more like the hospitality you focus on is a little different, obviously, than the hospitality I focus on, but the restaurants, the retail, and all those that have made like a big impact. And yesterday also, I had to go to Citibank, so I was near Jan's, and I was like, oh my god, I haven't stopped by Jan's. I haven't walked inside. So I walked inside, and it was still like, even though it was like the bright green and the white and the detail, it was still like, it's still sophisticated. So I think so many people get color wrong because they don't do it in a sophisticated way. Yeah. And it's a lot of noise. And I walked in there and I was like, it didn't feel noisy, but it still felt sharp, it felt comfortable, and it still had a power.
Yeah. I think that goes back to mixing colors at a very young age and understanding what is behind each color.
Yeah.
And then making sure that each palette has that same undertone.
Yeah.
Because I think that sometimes when you mix colors that aren't in that same tone, then that's where it goes badly.
Yeah.
Or it doesn't quite feel as sophisticated as it could be.
Yeah.
I think there's that different level of sophistication, like you just said. That's why that happens. And knowing and learning and understanding color on a deeper level, I think make that happen.
Yeah.
And so back to your question about the project work and like how that all came about, is that our work is focused on very specific brands. So when my clients come to us, they typically already have a brand.
Yeah.
And so we're here to enhance their brand and complement that and ultimately drive their ROI, which is really what our value is as designers. And we're here to provide an amazing space that brings people in the door. And I think even today, more than any time in history, with all of our Instagram, all of our social media, like people want that experience. And our clients want to make a profit. And they're passionate and they're these amazing entrepreneurs. And so we're here to complement that.
No, exactly. Are there any colors you avoid these days? Or I don't know, I mean, we go through some of the projects. So Coffee Dose is like pink and green.
Coffee Dose is pink and green. It's a complementary color scheme.
Yeah.
And it's very specific to her brand.
Exactly.
And it's very specifically a complementary color palette.
Yeah.
Nothing goes outside of that palette.
Yeah.
It's all green or it's all pink. And
but then going beyond that, you play with the checkerboard, so it's also adding that pattern layer on top of the color, which kind of also enhances it and makes it more black and white and pop out like that.
Yeah, that's where you get your 80s checkerboard. But yeah, we use the stripes and we use the two colors together in multiple ways and layers, and it creates that environment.
Yeah. And then Jan's it's a little bit more Jan's Health Bar, right?
Yeah, so Jan's Health Bar was born, it's a 70s baby. And it was born in Huntington Beach in the middle of surf culture. And so she's also a very specific known brand in this area, in Huntington Beach, in Orange County.
Yeah.
And so her color palette, and I'll have to say we updated Jan's to a very unsophisticated-ish palette and I shouldn't say unsophisticated, but I would say she had fresh colors and she had, I guess, what had been brought up from the past, and then we took her brand and brightened it up. We created the greens. I do the layers of the greens and the blues and the kind of like the ocean colors in there that kind of bring a dance together. And now that we've done 8,
exactly.
each one of them is the same but different, and it's based like on that color scheme.
Good. What's kind of, so the green is because of just like health part of that, or where's that green come from that's in Jan's? The greenish blue kind of is to blue.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think our green comes from surfing and from the ocean and from those really deep, like watery greens and blues, and so I see it coming through there. And then obviously avocados are green. So
there's a lot of avocado. So what kind of, so let's actually, I also think let's go back to, so you teach a class once in a while on color.
I do.
And you do that
at OCC.
Okay. What was starting that, and how you see if that's evolved to actually like educating people on color?
Yeah, so I guess I've done it 9 times now, maybe? Something like that. Yeah, so I teach it inside my former partner's class at Orange County Community College, inside the fashion department. And so I specifically teach a very basic color theory course.
Who are the students? Are they fashion?
They're fashion
forward? Are they interior designers? Are they graphic designers?
Typically, they're from the fashion department, and usually there's 1 or 2 interior designers in there. They're the ones that are paying attention the most. I teach all of the color theory, like complementary, monochromatic, analogous, all the split complementary, like everything, all the color groupings.
Yeah.
And then we talk a lot about branding and color, and we talk about window design, and because it's the fashion department, so we go through what's effective in window design and marketing and all of that.
Yeah.
I talk a lot about light bulbs,
Yeah.
and I really actually got that. The students are like, I don't know what an incandescent bulb is anymore. All you have to know is that they were better. Everything was better then. Yeah, so like light plays a lot when it comes to color out. Yes, we know.
Yeah.
And so we talk a lot about that. Yeah.
What's that I know? So sometimes I teach a portfolio class at Cal State Long Beach. And so it's to me, I love it because I learned something. And I think it's almost like they teach me something, so that's why I love being near the school or kind of getting our interns, and always get the best interns from there.
Yeah.
But I think there's something about learning up and learning down. So have they taught you anything about color, or even when they do a project or something that's inspiring, or is there anything?
That's actually a really good question. I feel like they always ask questions that I'm like, oh, wow, that's a cool question. I can't think of one right now, but I feel like when I'm interacting with them, it's, oh, how did you, like, why did you choose pink and green? Why did you choose bright blue? Or why this or why that? And they're like sponges. I just love them.
Yeah, because that took also that whole interesting fact, like, how many people are scared of color?
Yes.
And I think that's always, to me, just such an engaging conversation with our clients, and it's so scary. And to me, it's paint. You can just paint it. You just paint it again.
Totally.
So it's not
just repaint it.
So just because my husband's an excellent painter, it's easier. But it's also, we're building this little house, and he's like, I don't want to paint anything. I was like, oh, so now it's all metal, so I don't paint anything, because he's such a good painter. He doesn't want to paint anymore. But I think people are still like, just get scared. It's like, it's that paralysis. If you show them 6 colors of green and have to make a decision on one, and they're just like, no, I can't pick it. It's just an accent wall. That's it. It's just like, you paint it in 2 more years, whatever.
It's fine.
And no, it gets more expensive when you go into tile and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I think in that whole essence of accent walls or focal points, it really is just,
It's just paint.
yeah.
It'll be fine. It'll be completely fine. I think our conversation around painting with color and using lots of colors is that it's the return on your investment. It's going to bring people in the door. And really, when they get behind that, they're like, oh, does that actually work?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, it actually works.
Yeah.
It actually works to like really like dive into color and dive into your brand and to bring people in to see it.
Yeah.
People want it.
No, exactly.
They want to see it. They want to live in it. They want to understand it, even if they don't understand it.
Yeah. No.
I think like a lot of our clients, they're in a lot of ways easy to get across that color conversation.
Yeah.
And some of them I'm just, let's just do it.
Yeah. Trust me.
Just trust me. This is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And let's go for it.
Yeah. I think actually the whole like social media has helped that, because I think now that they can see it, and you have a great brand on social media, Common Standard, and I think that's also, even if it's not their project yet, they can see the impact someone else did, or that it shows up in another magazine, or it's showing up in another feed, and seeing, oh, that is bringing return on investment.
Yeah.
And so sometimes return on investment's hard to analyze that and show that on the spreadsheet to a client. Oh, if we do this, you're going to get this, and I'm going to sell 10 more coffees. You don't really, how do you really know that? And it's like putting that data together and taking that fear forward.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm thinking right now I should take photos of the clients with lines out their doors in front of all those colors, like at Coffee House, at Hot Cafe and Market, at Little Juice, at all these places that like have people. Maybe that's color versus ROI right there.
And there's some other boring coffee shop doors, like there's no one out the door.
And these big bucks.
To pick your paint.
Totally.
But anyways, it's also like half of our job is also being cheerleaders and selling and making sure like we understand that and they see the value of that. It's really like we're selling value, and sometimes it's hard. It's hard sometimes.
It's so hard. It's hard all the time because it's not what people naturally gravitate to. There's a lower percentage of people who will actually dive into color than not. And that's just what's
exactly.
The building that we're painting on PCH. I convinced my clients to paint it green. A huge building, which is out of the normal for Newport Beach, of course. And it's funny the responses that I've gotten as we have started the two ends are coming into the middle now.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh my gosh, green's the best color ever. It's good. But green becomes a neutral too, and I think people don't really understand that either because there's a bit of lack of color theory.
But I think also driving by there, it's like also you have that offset with white, so that white keeps it really fresh right now. And I'm curious with the other colors, just enhancing that. But it's also, it's that shade, it's picking that right shade that actually has that, it just rests in your heart.
Yeah, rests in your heart.
Yeah, when you drive past it.
Yeah, and that color is crazy too because obviously Newport Beach is really foggy in the morning. And so it's a different color in the morning than it is at noon, and then another color at 5 as the sun goes over the building. I've noticed that's an interesting surprise.
Yeah, that's it's a good surprise.
It's a good surprise.
I remember one time we were working in the Phoenician for Starwood, and it was like I'm going to do all these custom colors for all these carpets, and it was like I picked some out before we left the office, and I'm like, oh, these are going to all be great. And there was one that was ugly, and I'm like, no, I'll bring it anyway. And I got out there, and that was the one.
That was the one.
And it was just because that sunlight was different in Arizona, and the way the light struck it, it was beautiful. And it was the way it went, and it was just even, you understand, like the fog or changing in lane and shifting, stuff like that, and how it could change. So, and how we make some big mistakes sometimes, and then we learn from them so we can bring it forward to another one.
I was like, whew, because that's a big building, and it is just paint. We could do it again, but.
Yeah. So, how do you take risk while keeping design timeless? And I'm probably a little bit more of a timeless designer than you. But I don't know if it's just our hotels, it's such a big investment. So it's 7 years to have a powerful tile. It's probably not our client's thing. But I still find spaces to use color and something that could be replaceable. It's a little bit easier. So how do you kind of balance like color and timelessness? And obviously the avocado green comes back sometime.
Yeah. Sort of the story of it all. I think that one of the things about our project is that most of them set in a time period already. So like for instance, like Outpost Kitchen is like sparkly, it's 80s, it's set in that era. And I think that's one of the reasons why it stays timeless. Coffee Dose is a 40s diner, but it has these poppy colors, and I don't think that it'll ever go out of style because you always want to go there. Like Hot Cafe and Market is like a French Parisian little cafe, and so that kind of guides the timelessness there. And same with Little Juice. I think that keeping in mind those time periods and the historic perspective or period, and that's like running in the background, I think that helps that timelessness.
No, I think it does. It does. Actually, I've never heard you like explain it like that, but that totally makes sense now. Yeah. So besides the red palette, are there any other palettes you feel like is missing in the world right now that you'd love to explore?
Yeah, the red palette, an orange palette.
I feel like it's also like Europe is just ahead of us in color. So one of my favorite people, like Patricia Urgolia, she's one of my favorite like architects, designers, product designers. So I think that's an aspiration for me. And I think she just has this way of using color and in just a beautiful way that has this European flair. So I feel like that's always inspiring to me.
Same. And I also think like I'm really inspired by Varagon and like those like Mexican villages and like his architecture is very colorful. Like I wish that like I could paint Newport pink sometimes or like purple or like the whole thing. It'd be so fun to bring like that, like you said, that European color to life. You just go and you feel like energized.
No, exactly. So even for me, I just went to Mexico City and I hadn't been there it's a really long time, and it was so inspiring, and it's so big, and there's so many people, and it has this dirty factor of it, but there was so much art, and it's also playful. It's actually not, I don't know, it's just like, it's so artisan, so I think it was just this muse of coloration, and kind of went over to Frida's house and stuff like that. It was a blue building, but it was just like, it's beautiful, but it was like these little pockets, and it was like these little surprises. So I know that kind of got me back inspired to do more artwork that I wasn't really doing. So what's your inspiration, or how do you search that out for inspiration?
Like inspiration of color.
Or what inspires you.
And I think that like it could be a piece of artwork, like you said, or a place. Like I'm really inspired by Portuguese tiles. Like I love them. And so there's like that inspiration between all of that like really decorative, like blue and white hand painted tiles next to like yellow, or that's super inspiring to me. And I think building interiors around like even little things like that is cool. Come from anywhere.
Yeah. No.
And again, like I florals and gardens and all of those kind of like nature oriented colors too. Yeah.
I think I like when you send me little Instagram things, and I think I sent you that tile that was like those swimmers and those mosaic, and I was like, oh my God, Amanda's got to use this on a project. It is so cool. Like, where's our pool project?
It's so funny. Like, Poppy sent me that, you sent me that, another 3 or 4 other people sent me that, and so I told Poppy, I was like, I think we have to do this. Apparently, this is us. This is our thing. So it was cool. I love that because it really like says something about our point of view. That so many people are.
And it was probably from some like Portuguese tile manufacturer.
It was
like,
so cute.
Some hand tile stuff like that. It was
so
adorable.
Cute.
Yeah. To cut those out.
That's great. And I think that the color on that tile was so cool because it was a white neutral base and then it had all the little cute swimmers on it.
No, it was adorable. I'm kind of curious. I was like, how much is this? $100 a square foot or more? or more.
Yeah.
So that's good. Okay, so now we're up to our lightning round.
Okay.
Colors you can't stop using right now.
Green.
Green. Green. Best vintage piece you've designed around?
Vintage chair that I got in Los Angeles from a vendor.
What's it
it looked like a chair that was made in like somebody's back shop, or it was like a school project or something like that. So it was like plywood, it had the holes cut out, had these angled 80s kind of things. And I was inspired by that chair. And so I had them reproduced for a project, a hotel project that we did up in Marina del Rey. And so we called it the captain's chair, and we did it in a lounge chair, and we did it in a dining chair. And it was a whole process of getting things made for Furniture Lane. And
No, actually, I'm going to go back because the vintage, so we didn't really talk about that. But I think when I went with you to Dana Point, that vintage thing, I was like, oh my God, all these people know Amanda. So I'm not totally a vintage person. So
I like the whole community, all the people, all the players.
But it's this whole like thing. So it's a cute group that you have been part of, and it's a community.
It's a community.
Yeah, and it just seemed like really loving and stuff like that. So that's really been, and vintage is there's so many great colors from the past. So like that inspiration, because you go to the Rose Bowl, you go to Long Beach, and that was a Dana Point. Is there anything else you have gone to?
There's one that's in Los Angeles called Modernism. That's a really good one because there's like higher end dealers are there. The Dana Point, the redo one is really good.
I know. I think I keep finding a couple of, when we went to Paris and went to the markets there. So I'm like, where are Amanda and I going to go that we're going to be able to go see something like the fair in England? That's like flea market. That's once a year or whatever. So we'll put that on our bucket list together.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because that's inspiring.
I think as designers, we just love things. Like we love objects and we love art and we love this textures and we like this texture and I like this texture and I like to touch everything and I like these ruffles and like this shirt I got from a vintage friend of mine. He wore this to prom. There's like a fun story around that, but I just love everything about it.
So I think there's a story. Like even this is, my husband was working on a house where Richard Nixon, it's his house that he had this interview before, like, whatever, everything went down. So they were renovating the house, and this is actually like the end cut of the beam. And now it's here.
Richard Nixon house.
But it was from this actually interview, and it was just this iconic interview that happened like in the 70s or whatever. And it's here, and it just has a history to it. It's just a leftover piece of wood that was just going to go in garbage, and now it's like my little, part of my sanctuary. So it is that story of what that stuff brings to you.
There's, and everything has a story, and even if it doesn't have a story, you can make it a story.
Exactly.
But yeah, I love, and in Jan's, we always use a vintage light fixture. In Jan's, always. And I always do a stained glass window in Jan's. Which is based like on a vintage stained glass window.
That's nice having that in the brand book, though, because it becomes a piece of the brand book.
I
think we went through this one, color memory, of childhood color memory. I feel like it's like you
so I can add to that. So one of them, so my mom used to take me to like thrift stores when I was a kid. And she bought me this pink chiffon nightie. And I wore that thing like crazy. It was so pretty, and it was so pink, and had a little tie.
Yeah.
So that's one of my color memory.
That started the pink craze.
Yeah. Totally.
I love how that things like they wear out and just like you just like nothing until it becomes tatters.
Yeah, so pink chiffon, 80s, and mirror ball.
Okay. Yeah.
And golf shirts. That sums up my whole thing.
Yeah. No, that's cool. One of the things you always keep in your design toolkit. Is there anything you keep in your design toolkit? I'm trying to figure out what my design toolkit is.
A tape measure.
Yeah.
Always. I don't know how many times I have to buy one of those things.
Yeah.
Tape measure, a paint deck, and lip gloss.
Yes, that is a good one. That's a good one. Yeah. I think I still like the electronic tape measure. So.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. So I feel like the battery runs out when you do it. I feel like, oh, darn.
With the lip gloss, I'll tell a story on myself. I was running late for a meeting the other day. I had no makeup, and I just put lip gloss everywhere. I put it on my cheeks, I put it on my eyes, and it was my eyes in the meeting were so sticky. I'm just going with this.
Lip gloss does it. That's good. It does.
So lip gloss.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for being here, being friends, being design companions, and been on this journey together with our firms and elevating our audience and developers and other designers and just being inspiring.
Absolutely.
So
Thank you for having me.
Okay. To our listeners, to be sure to follow Amanda and the work of Common Standards. And don't forget to subscribe to Elevate Hotel Design on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. More bold voices and brilliant ideas coming your way. Thank you so much.